Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone. So we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural then and now.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
You kind of look like Mrs. Hannigan, but like hot.
Thank you so much. I just felt like this coat was something you would appreciate. And by appreciate, I mean maybe hate a little,
no,
but
I
love
it. Lily will hate it, but I love it. I literally even told Melissa before we started filming, she's like, I like your outfit. I was like, well, I knew I was going to be supported in my outfit because
I was going to say you need this in every color.
Not only are you here and you support all good and bad fashion choices of mine, but Melissa also doesn't judge me. And I could never order on Lily because she'd be like, are you painting a goddamn house?
You could.
I could.
Multitasking queen.
I'm ready. I'll start. I'm sorry.
I mean, I was just going to include this.
Great.
Perfect. Let's do it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. Here today is internet's pure sunshine, Joslyn Davis.
Oh, Megan Rinks.
You're not hyphenating your last name, are you? I just realized that.
Oh my
I was
gosh, I keep forgetting about it.
Yeah.
LOL. I am going to legally change my last name.
Yeah, and then have your like professional business name.
But I'm not publicly. It's just been too much work to even get to this place. That if I change my name, I feel like it would just all go away.
No, even Kim Kardashian, she threw West on the end.
Exactly. And I don't think I'm going to do that for my career. It's just too complicated. Although I do like Chris's last name. Reese.
Yeah, it's cute.
It means
laugh.
It means laugh in Italian.
Oh.
So like how cute is that?
That's so cute. He's Italian?
Reese. Yes. Oh my gosh.
That makes sense to me.
So Italian.
That makes sense.
I just want to say on the record, I am so glad that justice is being served.
We don't know.
For allegedly, potentially, for the Megan Rinks channel
vlog
number
channel.
2, the vlog channel, because that is like really when I got to know you is when that channel took off, and you were such a pure inspiration to the world to be like, yes, it depends on your interpretation of the
to
word.
break your face.
But here's the thing, I am totally cool with people like getting surgeries, doing injections. I love Botox.
Oh, a big fan.
I just got my eyebrows laminated yesterday. What I don't like is when people straight up lie about it and you are the one to rip the Band-Aid off of that. I feel like we owe you. You are the reason.
Thank you
for that pure honesty.
So much.
It's true.
It's also wild because I've never gotten any shit for getting my nose done. Like I've never gotten any shit for like getting any work done. But like getting my nose done. Cause I was like, I literally built it up. Like I kept telling everybody like before the videos, cause I didn't know either of you when that was happening, but it was like, count down till my big announcement. And everyone goes, oh my God, what is she doing? And then I was like, I'm getting a nose job. And everybody was like, okay.
Right.
Guys, this is Don't Blame Me. It's an advice podcast. And if you want to give us a call for an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. This is your third?
This is my third appearance on this show, and I love this show.
You're already good. We don't even need to I have no qualms.
Ooh, big word. A babe with a big word.
Yeah.
Did you go to college for a semester?
I did not. Oh, I did. Thank you so
did
much.
that. Mm-hmm.
Give me the credit. Technically, I went for 3 quarters. I went for 4 quarters.
Ooh.
I went for $1. I went for a whole $1. And then I left. But should we hop into the calls?
Yes.
Do it.
Hi, Megan, Melissa, and potential guests. I need advice on how to deal with my boyfriend's sister and mother, who essentially hate me. I'm 24, my boyfriend is 28. My boyfriend has a 4-year-old son, whose mother is out of the picture. We've been dating for about 1.5 years now and been living together for 5 months. My boyfriend and his family are super close and protective of one another, which I initially adored, but now it's going to be a really big problem. From what I know, they don't like me because they feel like I'm not going to stick around and instead eventually leave. They've made it clear they don't want to spend time with me or get to know me, and I think they think that I'm no good for my boyfriend and his son. A few months ago, my boyfriend's son asked if I was his mother. Me and my boyfriend talked it over and decided that because I almost essentially am, we were both okay with it, and explained that I was to him the best we could, that I wasn't his biological mom, but he could call me that if he wanted to, so he has been for the past few months. Last week, we went to my boyfriend's mother's house for family dinner, and it was actually really nice. But after eating, when everyone was just hanging out, my boyfriend's son was tired, and he said something like, "Mommy, I'm sleepy." The room got so tense because no one besides myself and my boyfriend had ever heard him call me that. But when I went to put him to bed upstairs, I heard everyone shouting and arguing and saying really hurtful things. When I got back downstairs, his mother even asked me if I told him to call me that. After that, my boyfriend was done. He was angry and upset, and we left or started to leave. But when we were leaving, everyone was yelling and fighting, and it was bad. And I was crying, and my boyfriend's son was crying, and it was just bad. We haven't really talked about it since. I take care of my boyfriend's son. I think it's my own already, and I've never thought of leaving them. My boyfriend is so close and loyal to his family, and I don't want to be the cause of screwing it up, but I also don't want to lose him. I know he loves me and he's trying to defend me, but I think it's hard for him to stand up to his mother and his sister. He's the most amazing man I've ever met, and we've had the marriage talk. We know we want a future together, and I just don't know how to explain to him and his family that I plan to be here for good. Thank you so much, and any advice helps.
Wow, that's a lot.
Wow, I think for the first time, I see both sides. I really see both sides. Because, I mean, to be honest, maybe I see one side more than the other, but I don't agree with, I agree with bits and parts, because I think the thing is 1.5 years in, I think it is, I don't think I think that is a lot for a kid, and I think that is every reason that his parents have every reason to think that this is not potentially long-term, because 1.5 years is not long. It's not.
I mean, I totally agree. I literally dated Chris for 4 years before we were that works for me. I do know other people who are typically significantly older.
Yeah.
I would say in their 30s, and they've just been there, done that. And they're like, we've been dating for 1 year. What the hell? Let's just get married. Here's my opinion. I actually feel kind of bad for this girl because I don't think this situation is actually really completely about her. I think she's just caught in the middle of a bunch of drama that, I always say FTS, filter that I don't even know. Can I say that word?
Oh, yeah.
Filter that shit. Okay. Filter that shit for me. I think family dynamics are so challenging and can play such a big role in a relationship.
Yeah.
I'll deal with my family, you deal with your family, but let's filter it. You know what I mean? And I think it's so complicated because there is a kid involved, and kids are so smart and they totally can catch on to what's going on. So I think that's really the piece of it where it's more heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But 1.5 years is super quick. And to me, unless it's going to be like, I'm officially like adopting you as my child.
That's what I think too.
It's just so scary. Like, what if it doesn't work out? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I hate saying that, and hopefully it does, but like, what if it doesn't?
Well,
you know?
and that's the part that like, I think the person who I think is at fault here is in all cases is your boyfriend. Like, I think even introducing a son in, I'm sure he definitely needs help. And like, you need, like, you want a partner when you're parenting. And I'm sure for him feeling like I don't want my kid to miss out on having a mom, and like feeling that obligation of being like, wow, I feel so bad that my kid's mom is not in the picture. And like, I want them to have a mother figure.
And for him, dating is like a package deal. You get both of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing is I think, I don't even think you probably should have met the kid until you guys were probably dating for like, I would honestly probably say like maybe like a year. Like, I think he should have protected his kid, that relationship, and making sure all of that. And then also, I think that would protect you from his family as well, because I think like he's their son. So the parents are going to go in, and I don't think they're going to be like looking at judgmental of him. I think they're going to be like, who is this girl coming in and playing house? When in reality, I think your boyfriend is the one who's like, here, come play house.
Yeah. Also, my question is like, why are they so turned off by her? Mm-hmm. Like, why? I feel like either he's dated other people in the past who have dropped the ball that have set the tone for the situation, or there's like something we don't know that has happened maybe a long time ago that maybe she should have been forgiven for or whatever. But it just seems as though there's got to be something more to the situation. Or the parents and everybody's just super involved in the kid's life, which I totally get.
And to me, it sounds like they're looking out for the kid because they're afraid that their son is not looking out for the kid in a bigger picture way. Because I think, on a day-to-day, you would love your kid to be able to have you as a father and then have you the girlfriend, as like a mother figure. But I think that the parents are thinking about it in long term. And they're probably thinking about the fact that like, maybe he hasn't had a great picker with girls, and maybe like the fact you're 24 and the idea that like you're going to suddenly be a mom and you'd be at a totally different place at your life than all these other people. I just think that like moving in together after a year, I think is already kind of fast. And then I think
for me too. I mean, I think like even when I was single and I was like older, whatever that means at this point in time, but I was like, oh, I'm totally willing to like date guys who have been divorced for sure. But for me personally, and it was something I thought about at my age, in my like late 20s, early 30s, I wasn't ready to be like a stepmom. Yeah. And I knew that for a fact. Because like I just like know how hard that's been for some of my friends who have had to go through those situations. I knew I wasn't ready for it. And like if I had been, what I probably would have done would have been like waited until like I don't know, like we were engaged or something to move in, to where it was like that sense of solidarity for the kid. I don't know. It's so complicated because I've never been through this.
And to me, it seems like what the parents are worried about, and to be fair, what I'm worried about is that he doesn't really have a sense of that like worry and those boundaries. I don't think that he's really thinking this through, and it's put you in a bad position. And then also it is like the strain with his relationship with his family. And I don't know, we don't know, the mom of the child's not in the life anymore, which makes me assume that they are still alive. Like they're still like around,
alive.
And I'm sure as the parents, they were like, I'm sorry, you and your ex or whatever, you guys had a kid together. She walked away and left this kid, and you're going to bring another girl into your life within a year and a half, introduced to the kid's life again. And that they have every chance of like, there's like not a 50-50 chance, but like history has shown that happened before. And I think they're trying to look out for the kid and him more than that is. And I just think like calling mom and all of that stuff, I think is just complicated. And
it's crazy though. The hard thing is like all of this has already happened.
I know.
And the kid is already experiencing like having a mom and, you know, all of this stuff. So like, what does she do now? Like, what do they do now?
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think
do they like just get married if that's what they want? Only if that's what they want to do.
To be
Only
honest,
if that's what
I
they
was
want
gonna
to
say,
do.
I was like, that's the thing. Like, if that's where your relationship's at, and all, like, I just think that they're definitely. You're right. I don't necessarily even know where to go from here. I think I would just try and see it from their perspective and have a conversation without your boyfriend with his parents and be like, I want to hear all of your grievances. I want to hear all of this. I think I know that I love him and I love his kid, and I don't want to say I was like caught up in all of that, but now that I'm taking a step back, I can realize why it might feel like this felt so fast, or it feels like triggering in a repeated history.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to hear everything that you have to say. And I want us to be able to have an open communication so you can talk to me about it, because that's the other part. Like, if you're going to come in and this kid is going to call you mom, you're going to get criticized and critiqued like they are your own parents. You are not protected as like, oh, be nice to my girlfriend, because you don't have that anymore, because now you also have a responsibility for this kid. And that's their grandchild. So they're going to go in on you. And I think you just have to have that open conversation with them and then figure out what their boundaries are of their comfortability. And then
your man needs to filter things. He needs to like step it up. I don't know what's going on here with that, but like,
and therapy, I would also.
Oh my gosh,
I'm also mostly recommending therapy for your boyfriend, but
and like family therapy.
Yeah.
It could be super helpful to have a mediator there for this conversation.
I think that's a good call.
Oh yes,
because I think that will also help. Like if you do like a marriage and family therapist, I think that'll also help in making sure that you guys are making and communicating with each other as you go through these choices of raising this kid without you guys actually being married or you being the biological mother. I think that could also open some new insight, in a psychological way.
I love that. I think that's the answer.
Yeah.
We don't have the answer.
And also you tell like his parents, like, we started going to go see a family counselor to figure that stuff out. That is like, okay,
that's
that
a
is
big
serious.
Girl. That's like a grown up step. I love that.
Yeah. Should we go on to the next one? On to the next.
Hello. This is like my fourth time calling in, trying to get all the words right. I have a lot of anxiety, so it's kind of hard to like say without like messing up. So I apologize in advance. But so I'm 24 years old. I've had this friend since my sophomore year of high school, and I just need some advice on if she's a toxic friend or not. It feels like she is, and it's honestly getting to the point where I don't really want to continue friendship with her. But because we've been friends for so long and because I love her family so much, it's kind of hard to like let her go. Her son's birthday was back in December, and I had let her know a month prior that I would be leaving early for a prior engagement that I had put my RSVP in for. And she had a problem with it before it even happened, but then I let her know, like, I'll be there the night before, and I'll be there almost the whole day for it and all that, to help her out and make sure I'm there for him and her. And so the night before, I had worked all day and then drove an hour and a half away to get to her so that I could help her set up with everything. And then I stayed up until 5 in the morning with her after being awake for almost 24 hours. And then the next day we woke up like 3 hours later and we had to set up a whole party, and I stayed with her until about 5 p.m., almost 5:30 actually, and then went to my event. And she had messaged me afterwards saying that I made her feel like a second option and was treating her and her son like crap. And I was there to set up, but I shouldn't have left. How dare I leave in the middle of the party, blah, 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 blah. And that was just one event. Then she decided to argue with me and pick on a situation with my best friend and his wife, and made it out to be that, like, me and him shouldn't be friends, even though me and him have been friends for years, and, we're close. And it was just a very toxic kind of situation, and it bothered me a lot. Honestly, just from that whole birthday party situation, that was just it for me. So every time she talks to me, I kind of get bothered. So I don't really know what to do. We've been friends for so long. Her son is a very important person in my life. And, I just care about them so much that it's hard to just let her go, and I don't really know how to go about it because it's a weird situation. If you can help me, I'd really appreciate it. Love you guys. Bye.
Oh my
Wow.
Lord.
So Megan, would you say this is a toxic friendship?
100%.
Literally, if you're asking, is my friendship toxic? Basically, 100% of the time, the answer is yes.
I do want to know, though, if this is one incident that left this really bad taste in your mouth or if there have been other indicators. Because I'm like a one and done kind of person. Like, I'm not like a multiple chances.
Multiple offense friend.
No, like I get that icky feeling. And then every time you like talk to me, I'm like, ugh, like, and I don't even want to power through it because I'm like, I'm just going to come across as a bitch because like now I don't give a shit about you. Like I write people off very quickly.
I feel so honored to be here.
Oh my God, of course. You know me. I have a small group. I have such a small group that all of my friends know each other, and all of my friends don't even live in California. Like everyone knows each other because I was like, well, but
I think that's a good message for the caller too. Is like your wolf pack does not need to be 85 people.
No, and I also you had mentioned something about your best friend and her bringing that up to me. It sounds like. This sounds so, look at me giving her the benefit of the doubt. It sounds like she's definitely going through something, and it sounds like she's probably had some animosity towards your other friendships, and she sees you as a best friend, and she knows that you don't see her as a best friend, and she's kind of lashing out. The thing about toxic friends, though, which people don't tell you, most of the time, toxic friends are the ones who walk away from you. You're not always the one who needs to cut them off. I don't think I've ever personally cut off a toxic friend. I think, and maybe aside from like one, but I don't even think I really did. I think they kind of did it to themselves. But that's usually how it goes.
I've cut off a lot of people.
But it gets to be this ridiculous situation like she's doing to you right now, where she's like bitching at you, and I've been in that situation so many times where it's like, I literally did nothing. You are trying to gaslight me. Like, you are the toxic person here, and you're essentially accusing me of being a toxic person. And then my response has always been, I'm so sorry you feel that way. And then that's it. And then you don't hear from them again. And that's the part that I would say, like, and if they reach out to you, don't respond. I don't think you need to have this big breakup with her, because right now she's laid all of that out there, and you just say, I am so sorry that you feel that way, which, by the way, is not a real apology, which is why I'm saying that. But if you want to actually apologize to someone, don't say that. But say, I'm really sorry that you feel that way. And then that's it. And if she reaches back out, that's when you ghost her. But I don't think it's this, let's have this sit down, break up conversation and talk. And if she is going through something and she totally realizes like a little while later of being like, that was ridiculous of me, like I was dealing with this, this, and this, it leaves that door open for her to step up and be a better friend and not be
like
toxic.
Apologize and be like, hey, I was going through X, Y, and Z. In which case you can kind of, feel more comfortable continuing the friendship. But I totally agree with you. I have, over the course of my multiple decades on this earth, had a good amount of like toxic, because I have a big friend circle.
You do.
But I would say the people that are very close to me are very small. Like Chris and I had a really small wedding.
I'm so sorry I missed it.
Megan was invited for the record.
I was. By the way,
people were very angry. Where was her cake that she was supposed to make you? You were gallivanting in Europe.
I know. And the invite, we checked it was going to cost us twice as much. They were like, and if you want to cancel this and reschedule it, will be $3,000 a ticket.
No,
we're like,
absolutely not. I was like, just watch the video. It'll be great.
But your invite is still on the fridge, and we were clearing out. She was over yesterday. Yeah. We were clearing out all of these other wedding invites that we've gone to with Matzah's, and I was like taking off the fridge, and he goes, "Well, no, keep Joss and Chris's up." And I was like,
I love you so much.
He literally would not let me take it down. Also, it's literally just like a picture of them. So it's like,
the first time I saw it, I was like, why do you just have a picture of them on your fridge?
And it's funny
a long time ago.
That is up, and then the only other one that we got a new wedding invite this week, but then the only other like card that is withstood like my purge is my friend Cammie, her baby Magnolia, her Christmas card. So
that's a beautiful child.
Yeah,
so I feel honored to share fridge space with them. No, but we have a lot of people in our life that we're super grateful for. But over the course of my, sort of like life with friends, I've realized a few things. Like friends should really generally overall enhance your life.
Oh yeah.
And that for me, with friendships, especially now, I find it very hard to be friends with people who are emotionally like really all over the place, where you don't know when you're going to walk in a room what the consistency is like. Like, are you mad at me?
Yeah.
Are you happy with me? Like, that brings me so much stress.
Being unpredictable is my least favorite trait. That's an automatic no-go trait for people for me.
And for me, it's like emotionally unpredictable. Other stuff, I'm like, oh, if you got to cancel, whatever, who cares?
Oh,
like,
no,
it's
flaky
fine.
I'm fine with.
Flaky is fine.
Very fine.
I enjoy flaky.
I actually encourage flaky friends.
I do too.
Because don't you get excited when stuff gets canceled?
Yes. And I can stay home. Yeah, 100%.
But emotional consistency is so important. And I agree with you. I think it's always important to tell people, because I think when people get upset, it's just that they want to be heard.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean what they're doing is okay. All right. So I think you say, like, I'm so sorry that you feel that way. I hear you. And then that's all you really need to say. It doesn't mean that you need to let these people walk all over you. And with me, with toxic friendships, I don't like drama either. You don't need to have a breakup.
No.
You just step away quietly and don't continue facilitating the friendship. I know that you're really like involved in your friend's son's life, but it's kind of like you might have to choose what you want to do, because it's not like you can just hang out with the kid by yourself.
No, that's true.
You know?
Yeah.
And like, what do you really want out of life? Or you can have the conversation of like, I know you're upset. Is there like something else going on? Like, you know, it felt like you got really upset about X, Y, and Z. And I just want to make sure like genuinely you're okay. If you do want to continue the friendship.
Yeah. I think if you want to salvage that, that's like a great way to go about it. And I think that there's so much. Toxic people have such this pride of the fact they have no idea they're toxic, and they have this pride that they are always right. And so I think they do a lot of the legwork for you.
Yes,
and
they do.
And that's the part that's wild, because it's so draining to be friends with them and when you're in the trenches with it. But every time I've had like a breakup with a toxic friend, it was like surprisingly easy. They did it to themselves. And then if like they want to come back around, that's when you have the choice to ignore it. And also it puts you in a much, I don't know, I say it also puts you in a much better light, as opposed to like fighting fire with fire. Like, she's coming at you so angry, and then you retaliate with being like, no, you're full of shit. Like, I said all this stuff, and like, it's not going to feel, you think it'll feel cathartic. It doesn't. Like, it really doesn't feel, because she's not going to hear you. She's just saying to say it because she wants to hurt your feelings. She's not ready to receive any sort of information that will make you feel like, wow, I'm so glad I got that off my chest, because it's going to feel like you just said it to a wall. So might as well like write a letter of everything you would want to say to her, and then just let the friendship fizzle out. And if she realizes all that stuff, then like assess then if you even want to like reevaluate it all.
And we have emojis now. So like if she texts you something mean,
you just like it.
Ooh, even shittier.
That's my biggest one.
Just like it. That's actually great.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
That's the one that I'm just like,
or just send a confusing emoji, like a palm tree.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what does that even mean? They can never accuse you of not responding. You'll be like, I sent that kick-ass palm tree. What are you talking about? Obviously, everyone knows that means I love you so much.
My love for you is like coconuts.
But if you're stressed out about it, like, I don't know. You're 24. Live your best life.
Yeah, I think once you have that icky feeling, that's when you're like, okay, boy, bye. So, best of luck.
That's our TED Talk.
I am 28 years old, and I've been dating a close friend of mine for almost a year now. He's 30 years old. Before this, I've only been with one other person, and that was a serious and long-term relationship. He has dated several other women before me, and only one of them was a serious relationship, which was his high school/college girlfriend. So it was a long time ago. I would say that he's the type of guy who has fear of commitment. So I knew the risks I was taking when we started dating. I still decided to go for it and take it slow and see where it goes. Last month, I somehow ended up asking him if he thinks we're in a relationship. He seemed very nervous, so I eased him and I said, whatever his answer is, it's fine, no pressure. He said, I don't know. After some talking, I told him that I think we're in a relationship, but I understand that he is going to need more time before he can come to the same conclusion, and he was fine with it. Here's my problem. We've known each other for a long time. I've met his entire family many, many times. We're on the same page about all of the major life stuff. But most importantly, we have the same set of friends, and we also work together, which is a whole other conversation. Despite all of this, I don't understand where his hesitation is coming from and why it's so difficult for him to just call this a relationship and call me his girlfriend. I know for a fact that we're exclusive, and I also know that he has deleted all of his dating profiles since we started dating. We have also talked about moving in together this summer, and he likes the idea of it. And we're going to have more discussions in detail sometime in the spring. However, after this conversation, I'm a little uncertain because moving in together is a pretty serious next step. And if he's not sure, then I'm not sure. I'm also afraid to say I love you to him because I feel like he will not reciprocate. Do you guys have any advice on how I can navigate this situation? And do you think there's any scenario in which I will not end up with major heartbreak and lose him as my friend and lose all my other friends? If needed, I can DM you guys more details that I couldn't fit into the 3-minute message.
Like what? He's tall and has a great penis. That's always what it is.
Mm-hmm. He's such a great guy.
He's such a good. I know this makes but I promise he's a really good guy. Like he has a dog and he doesn't kick it, and he's held a baby. He's such a good guy.
He's such a good guy.
He's so nice.
He just is not into you at all. You know what this started reminding me of?
He's just not that into you?
Well, that. Oh. Also, you need to read Steve Harvey's book because I was watching the movie. I've never read the book, but I started watching the movie and I loved it. That's for another day. This reminded me of on Gilmore Girls when Rory started dating Logan and he was like, I'm not a boyfriend guy. And she was
like, you can't say that because they ended up together.
They ended up together. But
don't give her that
They
hope.
are not the rule. They are the exception, my friend.
Which is why you also need to watch He's Just Not That Into You.
Literally,
Yeah.
I cannot tell you more. I cannot tell you more. If a man wants to be with you, if he wants to see you, if he wants to be in a relationship with you, he will come to you. But you have to make yourself a little more scarce. And I feel like this guy is not into you. I'm so sorry.
This is the thing. I had always had commitment issues. Literally, I broke up with every guy that I ever dated. 3 months in, I'd be like, I fucking hate you. I can never see you again. I would literally fly, leave the state, and never call them back and just ghost them. And then I was like, I can't see you. I fucking hate you. And you were inside me yesterday, and this just changed. I literally have massive commitment issues. I wasn't okay with anyone even holding my hand. Any of that shit. Just made me just. If a guy called me pretty, I was like, drop dead.
We're done.
Ew.
Get out of my face.
Why are you so obsessed with me? I hate you. And I am in a 4-year-plus relationship, and that relationship, but not even that relationship, Mott's was the one who changed that for me. So not wanting anything, not being afraid of commitment. If you have been dating for a year, you would have been it already. There is nothing else to fucking wait for.
No, and you can't be like, oh, we don't really know each other that well. They've been friends for 10 years.
No, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Also,
he just wants to fuck you.
Also, have you ever heard of the concept, you should never shit where you eat?
God.
Do not start dating someone you work with unless you're
your friend.
This is going to be the most long-term love of my life of ever. Then do the thing. Start dating. Whatever.
Motts and I, we worked. That's how we met. We worked together, and we didn't start dating. As contrary to popular belief, we didn't start dating until after he left. He didn't ask me out until he was like, "Hey, I put in I got a new job and I put in my 2 weeks. Do you want to go out?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, in 2 weeks once I'm officially done here."
It was so fun watching that love story unfold. Have you ever had him on so you could share all of the Okay,
he's
great.
here every Valentine's Day.
That is adorable.
Don't listen to the first episode though because he's a big mouth breather. He's like,
it was more of a whistle though.
Well, yeah, he's a little congested.
Yeah.
My sister dated a guy she worked with at her first job. Her first year working, she dated one of her coworkers. They broke up.
Yeah.
And she had to get a new job. Because she's like, I can't go back there. I never want to see him again, ever. So, she had to change her whole life because of their breakup. It worked out in the long run because, she's happy. But
you definitely think you're the exception to the rule and that you could change him. And him saying, hey, I'm afraid commitment's not really my thing. That's his out. And that's why he told you. If you're afraid of commitment, I didn't tell, I really liked Mott. I didn't want him to know I have commitment issues. That's not a flattering thing. Right. I kind of was like, let's take this slow. And he could read the fact that we were friends before. So he knew, okay, she's not really big into that kind of stuff. Her Aquarius rising comes in hot. She's like, I don't have feelings. Get away from me. And we really played that, but smart. And I also did it in a way that I I was protecting him from the fact that I knew that this is something that I do. And so like, I don't want you to say that you love me. I would refuse to let him say he loved me. I didn't want to be exclusive. I didn't want any of that stuff because I'm like, I don't want to set any expectations that I'm not sure I can uphold.
Right.
And until
Very
then,
mature of you.
Thank you. And I was, younger than your boyfriend, and he's not doing that with you. He's not protecting you from him. And if this is the choices he's making, he's telling you what's going to happen. And then once you get upset about it, it's going to be like, well, I told you. Like, I told you this was going to happen. I told you so. And I think that's just like it's just dumb. And if a year in, he'll know. Don't move in with him. You are literally friends who fuck.
No,
like
do
if
not
he
move in
wanted
with
to
him.
date you, he would date you.
I wonder if all their friends know that they're dating. Because like, what if it's also, this
my
feels like
God.
one of those situations where like, let's just keep it between us. Let's keep it special.
He's
But which is
fucking other people too.
Also, are all their friends just like coworkers?
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Leave the office, dude.
If I were you,
Lots of hot dudes outside,
and you're a real bad B, here's what I think you should do. I think you should like really practice what you're gonna say and just act like super casual and just be like, I just feel like this isn't really working out. Like we want different things. Like I wish you the best. Let's just stop this now before it goes any further. And then just like stick with it. Yeah. And if he really cares about you and wants to be with you, he will be. But I feel like you're giving him too much right now.
Yeah, and then I think truthfully what you're going to see really quickly is that he'll be like, okay. And then this is the other part. Give it 2 months, he'll have a girlfriend and he'll be engaged and have a baby. Like
that's what always
That's
happens.
always. And it's
Always.
not, the thing is it people think that like, oh, someone doesn't like want commitment. They don't want to settle down. Like, I can change that. Like this relationship can change that. You can't do anything. He has to choose, I want to change. And we've said this before on the podcast. Like he has to choose he wants to change. And he's also going to choose that without you knowing. He's going to be like, I hated commitment. I meet this girl. I want to commit to her. I'm going to do this. This is on me. Not like he doesn't need you to show him what this relationship could be and like how great it is and you stick it out. That's like, it's not what happens.
No, he needs to just decide for himself. And again, if he wants to be with you, he will, but it just doesn't seem like he wants to. And that really sucks. But like, you might want to start putting your resume out there, you know?
Yeah. And this is the other part. I just want to say, not everyone who sleeps with you wants to date you.
No.
And not everyone who's friends with you and who also sleeps with you wants to date you. And not everyone who's nice to you wants to date you. Like there's this, someone can be really polite and really nice and on paper a good guy and treat you nicely and then ultimately just not like you that much. And it sucks because you would honestly rather someone be a dick so then you don't like them
so you
back.
have a clear path.
Yeah.
To
And
be
then
like,
you're
I
like,
gotta get rid of this
fuck
guy.
you treat me like shit. But it's like, oh, you treat me so well and everything is great except you don't want to date me. And then, but that's all there is to it.
And I'm curious to know like what your friends are telling you. Do you have the kind of friends who are like, oh my gosh, well, maybe this happened or maybe this is why. Like, you need to have some
my
friends.
cousin's friends like
had
dated a
this
guy for 6
situation?
years
No.
and like he had 5 other girlfriends and finally they ended up together and he's like so obsessed with her.
Yeah, no. That's not a thing. That is not a thing.
No. No. And it's also like we're applauding him for deleting his dating apps. Yeah, because he has constant pussy. He doesn't need it anymore.
It's true. And honestly, I would not be surprised if he's with other girls.
I
for sure.
would not doubt. That's the reason why you say we're not in a relationship. There is no commitment. So he can
get away with whatever he wants.
People.
Yes.
Yeah. I said that to Mott's and I was like, by the way, just want you to know we are not exclusive. And he's like, yeah, but I'm not seeing anyone else. I'm like, I'm just putting it out there.
I might be allegedly.
We are not exclusive. You can see anyone else. And he was like, I know what you mean. I'm just letting you know. I was like, okay, for sure. We'll circle back.
I love your story.
Yeah, I was a fuckboy.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And now I'm obsessed with him. And I'm like, God damn it. Remember when he was like obsessed with me? And then I was like, who cares? Now I'm like,
being like, oh my gosh, when did I lose all my edge? When did I lose my edge? Everyone knows you're always supposed to make sure they like you more than you like them. I'm screwed. I'm so screwed.
Genuinely how I feel. I'm like, fuck, I'm soft now. You fucking softened me, bro. Like, you're fucked up. Okay. Well, best of luck. And if you are not a part of our Facebook group, you should be. And we'll have 1,500 other people tell you
on your story
where it's not just us, and they can give you some nice and good support.
I need to join that Facebook group.
You do. It's a really good time.
You have to answer the questions correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a private Facebook group.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I love those.
And also, some of you I just want to say when it comes, like, there are answers when we can totally tell that English is your second language, and you will definitely get slack cut if things are things are not necessarily spelled wrong, or like the sentence grammar, or even if you're answering the questions and you've got it, but it's a little maybe lost in translation a little bit. There are some of you who are from Kentucky and are using the wrong tenses and all of this stuff, and I'm like, nah. No,
that shows you don't follow direction. No. And we got to have trustworthy people because there's sensitive things being talked about in the group. So read the questions completely. Answer them completely. Do not, even if you say something like, haha, I don't remember this one, you're not getting in.
No, delete that request. You look like a dumb shit. Yeah. Haha, I don't know.
No,
please let me in still. I don't know you, Sarah.
Right. This is how we screen people to get in.
Yeah.
So, and
then you'll get kicked out, by the way.
Yeah, and don't send a message saying, I don't know it, but I have listened to every episode.
No, you haven't.
No, obviously not.
They're literally such easy questions. Yeah. They're so easy.
If you don't answer any questions, don't bother. You're just wasting my time, and I hate my time being wasted.
That's the one that's so dumb. And then they'll resend it. I'm like, do you not know how to read? Because why are you trying to join a Facebook group with like lots of words? There's a lot of words here. You have to read a lot. If you can't do that, not the place for you.
They're probably trying to meet people.
It's not the place.
You still got to type to meet people.
That's true, actually. Good point.
Yeah. Well, after that rant, is it time for a break?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. Okay, everybody, we are back from our break, and we're going to hop into the rest of the calls. Ooh, baby.
This is fun.
It's basically my friend who we're good friends, but I don't think I can bring this up to her. She's joined an MLM scheme, and she's asked me to be a part of her team. I'm not going to do it. Don't stress. But there's part of me that's like, you are a poor uni student. You're eating 50-cent noodles. Maybe you need some extra cash, but I heard you have to do a lot of nagging your friends, and you lose friends, and sometimes it doesn't even work for like the average Joe. Anyway, I'm not going to that because don't worry, I'm not going to do it. But yeah, like, do I tell her to get out of it and all the bad things I've heard, or just let her go and see what she does with it, see what happens? I mean, I'm not going to stop someone doing something that they want to do, that they're kind of passionate about, but I don't want to see her get fucked over.
I just think there are so many different types of MLMs. Like, you could sell like Tupperware or like Mary Kay or whatever, or you could be selling like prepaid legal, which is like not a thing, which I would feel like ethically like not okay about. But if you're selling like a real product that people are actually into, like, I'm not going to do it, but like, if you want to, cool, I guess. Like, who cares?
My thought process is the same with this. I think being concerned for your friend, I think if it's a kind of MLM where she doesn't have to put any money down, if it's just sending people like through her link, if she doesn't have to pay for inventory, if she doesn't have to put any money into it, and it's just, again, like commission links and like getting other people to sign up through her links, and she has no stock and inventory and no money losses, then who gives a shit? Like, it'll either work or it doesn't, but she's not out anything. And I think if it is one of those things, you could send her a bunch of this information about like how MLMs are like a load of shit. But most of the time in the reporting of all of that, it's going to be focusing on the ones that are going to put you into debt, where you're spending more money than you're making. And that because the issue is that the pyramid scheme of like the trickle down, which MLMs are not technically, not all MLMs are pyramid schemes, but it's the trickling down of the fact that if you're doing so well, there's no way, like, this is also like basic knowledge of like business practice at all. There's no way for every single person to be doing so well and the company still make money and still be able to pay everybody out. out. So even if you know 50 people who are doing so well, those 50 people are doing so well because 10,000 other people are losing thousands of dollars. It's not even like, oh, these people aren't doing as well and eventually they'll get there. It's in order for people to do well, other people have to lose something.
Yes.
It's not like they're doing so they're not making any money, but they will eventually. It's like, no, they've lost $10,000. So someone else can make $100,000. So that's how that works. But the thing is, if she's not investing any money into it and it is just like a product landing page, then I think even if you send her all that information, it's not going to be super pertinent to her specific case. So I would find that out. But to be honest, I would just send the info anyway, because like, that's the thing. I'm obsessed with MLMs. I think they're we had an ad for the podcast for a while. This podcast called The Dream.
What's
and
that?
It made me listen to it. So the first season was all about MLMs.
Okay.
And it is so fascinating. They interview all of these people who've because they've been around since like the 70s.
And there's so Amway.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And
There's been so many.
The whole
over the
thing. So it was
years.
like so crazy interesting. And then the second season for this is for The Dream is the business of wellness, which is like one of my hot
huge
things.
MLM
Oh my God. It's the
situation.
biggest shit that makes me, nothing
Some
makes me more
oils,
upset than paying
essential
$1,000
oils.
to not be depressed. I'm like, serotonin doesn't come in the form of crystals. And if it does, then you don't have a serotonin imbalance. Like you just needed a crystal. But like, why'd you pay all of that money?
Oh my
that
gosh.
shit, like it's wild. So I think that's really fascinating. So I in so much of the content I've watched, if you want to be like more educated on it as like a friend, Tiffany Ferguson did a video with her sister, and her sister got involved in MLMs when she was like in her early 20s, and she talked about how much of the fact that like she just didn't really know any better, and like if you meet those people and they tell you all these really great stories, most of the time people who aren't into MLMs are being kind of like you, of just being polite, of being like, no. She's like, yeah, no one told me that this could all blow up in my face. Like everybody was either into it or was just kind of like, no, and like gave me a weird look, but I didn't think anything of it. So I think like if you feel a responsibility to be like, hey, heads up.
Yeah.
And I think that could be a great idea, because even if this is one that maybe she's not investing money in, maybe this one works, and then she takes that money she's made and then starts doing another one that she has to invest her money in to make even more money, or like later down the pipeline, that's something that they want you to do, like reinvest in yourself. But
it's like if your friend asks you to get involved in this MLM, I think that's the perfect opportunity to be like, thank you so much, I'm not interested because of X, Y, and Z. Because at that point, like, she's asking you to get involved in a business endeavor, which is different than a friendship endeavor,
100%.
which is a big reason that I have a problem with MLMs, because unless you're selling like a tangible, real product like Tupperware or like cooking tools or whatever, what are you selling actually? And do you want to get all your friends and family mixed up in that? Because that is like the way that people enter these markets.
Yeah.
I will say I am a huge fan of Cutco knives. That is one of my favorite MLMs.
What is it? A knife?
They're the best knives in the world.
Oh.
I've never worked for them in my life. But these knife salesmen used to come to my parents' house and be like, we're going to cut through a penny now. And they're amazing. But that's like a tangible product that is bettering the world, that also you don't have to buy from a person. They have a website.
See, that's what I was going to say. So like,
it's like legit.
Beauty Counter, which is like an all it's like a all natural makeup and skincare line. They have a section of their website that is like representatives, but you go through a link. So no one has to buy anything. And I've posted about them before, and someone's like, I thought you were so against MLMs. I'm like, it's not an MLM. You have to invest no money. You don't have to buy any product. You don't have to stock your own store. Like,
it's more like an affiliate link.
I was going to say, it's literally me posting an affiliate link. So like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I will also say, any fucking time, now I'm not gonna say you guys, but anytime any of my followers slide into my DMs and say, hey, I get so many MLM pitches in my DMs, and
Are you serious?
Every single time I send a copy and paste from my notes app back of being like, hi, thank you so much for reaching out. LOL. I don't think I say all of those. I was like, I think I don't even say thank you. I was like, hi, that's going to be a no from me, dog. Here's some information, some links about like the dangers of MLMs. Like if you're a student, this is not, there are plenty of other ways you can make lots of money, and you can look into ones that don't have you doing any upfront and all of that sort of stuff, because that's like the other shit. Because then even at the end of the day too, you have to do your research, because even if it's I know lots of people love Roden and Fields or whatever, but if you've done
that's skincare too,
yeah,
right?
It's skincare. But if you read a lot of articles about it, the reason why it also has to work at a certain point, if you're not investing your own money, if you're not investing money into your products, like you having your stock, and they're able to still make money and you're still able to make money with commission, that means the products are marked up so much. And so
are they high quality?
I've read all these articles where chemists break
selling?
it down and they're like, you could buy this at the drugstore for like a fraction of the price, but people have this. And when you have something behind a paywall that's harder to get, especially skincare, you're like, oh, it must be good, because in order to get the good shit for my acne, I have to go to my dermatologist. So to get the good shit, I must have to pay a lot of money. It must need to be hard to get. You can't just buy it at a drugstore. So I think just in general, regardless of what kind they are, I think there are like lesser evils of it. And I hopefully think that we're going to be moving more towards like the affiliate like codes and that kind of stuff. Because you think about that, even colleges have like, they have college reps for like, brands have like college reps where it's like brand, not even like Brandy Melville, but like any of those, like Princess Polly or whatever. And you can be a college student at USC and you're cute and pretty. And they're like, hey, if you post this often, we'll give a 30% off coupon code for you posting this, and then you'll get commission for all of that stuff.
Or just open an Amazon affiliate store and just like promote that stuff to your friends and family. I feel like it's just a little more ethical and less
And you're
weird.
going to get more money that way too. Like you're not going to have to
just become a bartender, dude.
Best of luck to you and your friend, and I hope she doesn't get scammed. And good for you for not being a scammer. And also, I might at this point have to flag any comments that say MLM or not a scam. So none of you can comment and come for us being like, no, actually, they're really great.
It really just depends.
It's
people.
like,
be smart.
Do you want to be your own boss?
Do your research.
Hi, Megan, Melissa, and potential guests. I'm 22 and in my last year of college, and I'm super into one of my close friends that graduated from my school last year. He lives 2 hours away because of work. We met and became close friends only 2 months before he graduated and moved out of town, but since then we've managed to get really close through visits, calling, etc. We're planning on moving to the same city in July, so distance isn't really a big issue. He's definitely shown that he's into me, but I think the ball is in my court to determine what happens next. The only real problem with our situation is that I'm super into my faith and he's atheist. Otherwise, he's a literal perfect match for me, which is insane. He's incredibly sweet, super into social justice like I am, and is truly the most loving person that I've ever met. We've talked about what we want out of a future partner, and I mentioned faith, so he knows that he doesn't have everything I'm looking for, but I have everything that he's looking for. I like him a lot and don't want to convert him or anything, of course, but I ideally only want to be in a serious relationship with someone who shares my faith with me. And from knowing how close we already are, if we started dating, it would probably be something that got serious and lasted a while. I've never felt so strongly about wanting to be with someone before, and it's something I've been feeling for months. I think I want to date him anyway and just risk whatever happens, but I wanted to know what you guys think. I also want to actually sit him down the next time he comes to town and talk to him about everything, because we are just people who can be really open and honest with each other. But I wanted suggestions for where and how to have this conversation because I'm really nervous about it. Thank you.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, God.
She answered her own question multiple times,
Yeah.
I feel. If this is really a deal breaker for you, that's totally cool. But, like, you can never change someone, ever.
No.
Or go into something believing you might.
Yeah. Or even believing that you might change your opinion. Like,
yes. Or you might change yourself or the way
Yeah.
you feel. If it's, like, a deal breaker for you. If it's, like, as important as you're saying it is. Some people are like, I have so many friends who are like interfaith, like, oh, I'm Jewish and I'm Catholic or whatever. And they're just like, you know, anything goes, like whatever, it's fine for, but they already knew that going into it. So it wasn't like a huge deal for them.
And because I think the thing is like what it really comes to play in is because I think in some cases it can be how you were raised. And I think that really applies much more to like religion that's based heavily on like
culture and stuff,
tradition, like
tradition.
tradition in the sense of like that's not, I don't want to say like not mainstream, but like that hasn't been like a hallmark tradition.
Right.
So like everyone celebrates Christmas. I mean, people tons of people celebrate Christmas who aren't Christian.
Right.
And so I think like I wouldn't consider Christian a different way of upbringing because I think it's so infiltrated into our society already. But like being Jewish, 100%. I didn't go to Hebrew school. Like I didn't have any of like that kind of experience. Like I didn't go on birthright and all of that sort
Jewish?
of stuff. No, I wish.
Oh my gosh, I was just about to have my mind blown.
No.
Like, how do I not know
so
this?
my two best friends are Jewish,
Yes.
and both of them, that was like they got to a certain age where they only dated guys who were Jewish because it was like it was part of the fact that they're like, well, I want someone who like I don't have to like explain my family to. I want someone who's going to kind of come in and understand and know the nuances of it all, and I'm not going to feel like weird and kind of have like to teach someone something because already every family is different, but like that's
if
something
you put that on top,
yeah, it's a close
really
thing. And then they were like, and also my kids, I want my kids to go to Hebrew school. I don't want my kids to celebrate Christmas. I want my kids to celebrate Hanukkah. I want them to have that same sort of upbringing that I loved. That was because of my religion.
I think that's a very mature decision to make.
Yeah.
I'm Christian. And so is Chris. And that was something like as I got older, I made the decision.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to get into a serious relationship, like whatever, you can date people and like, you know, sample all of the flavors out there if that's your thing, whatever. But to me, like if I was going to marry someone, it was important that we shared that to me. Now, like I said, I have a lot of friends who are interfaith couples and it really works for them. But it sounds like for you specifically, this is very important to you in your potential like life partner. That being said, I don't think there's anything wrong with just like sitting down with this close friend of yours. By the way, have you guys hooked up too? That's like a whole other added layer to it. But sit down and be like, hey, I have feelings for you. I don't expect you to like want to change. I just want to have this like open conversation with you. Let you know I like you. Here's where I'm coming from. Here's where I know and appreciate and respect that you're coming from. I'm not trying to like belittle you in any way for your beliefs. But I just wanted to throw it out there and have an open conversation and see where you stood. Because I mean, who knows what this person might say to you? They might be like, I don't like you.
Yeah.
And then that's an easy out for you
that
also.
is true. This reminds me of literally an episode of The Bachelor this season. I think, this is important to you. And I will say on the opposite side of the spectrum, someone's religion is also important to me when I was dating them. And for me, it was like, I'm going to date someone. I would honestly prefer to date someone who is also like an agnostic, is an atheist, because I don't want to get in a position where
it comes up later to become an issue in the future.
And when I think about it with kids, it's like, for me, I'm not comfortable having my kids be baptized. That's not something I'm comfortable with. But also, I don't want to stop somebody if for them, that's their true belief system is that that's what their kids need. They need that to happen. And like, because also like I've read into it, I understand like what the meaning
theology of it all
and like the idea that I would take away that from somebody who wanted that, it's like
it's too much to put upon yourself.
Way too much.
And someone who loves you will not try to put that upon you. And like, moral of the story is you just can never change people or want to change people.
Yeah, and then also
like,
if you think about your
can't.
family situation, are you bringing them into like a highly religious family where he's like, if he's very vocal about his views and all of that, and your family's, and it's going to create that divide and that barrier, and you just don't know. And again, I think especially just think about it when it comes to your kids, like, because I think if you think, okay, and maybe it is in that conversation with him, which it's a very like you would talk about it now, even though you're not dating, but it's like, I want to know the extent of where you're at, because I think you could think of, oh, they are atheists, but like they're fine going to church on Christmas. He might not be. He might not be okay with your kids getting baptized, but you would think like, okay, well, yeah, he doesn't practice it, but he'd be fine if his kids do. He might not be. And that might be also your deal breaker for you by realizing that your kids wouldn't be raised in the same way that you were if that's how you want. And also, the good traits you're saying about him are not mutually exclusive to him. Lots of people have it. Lots of people are nice. They're really great guys. And they're also religious. Like I don't want to say it's a dime a dozen, but if it's something that's important to you, this is kind of, I don't know, not to make it religious, but like maybe this is God's way of being sign. Like, hey, this isn't your person.
For
like,
sure. And another thing, I feel like I talked about this on your podcast last time. Before Chris and I got married, we oh my gosh, we went to so many different like couples therapy, this and that. Because we're like both like kind of overthinkers a little bit in some ways. And we were like, is this we've been together for so long. We're like, is this going to work? So we took this quiz, and I think you might have even went to it, where I think a lot of different faith traditions use it, but
Yeah.
it's not a religious thing at all, where you take this quiz and literally they give you results at the end being like, you're not compatible or you are, and like you should still stay together if you're not compatible. Like they're not telling you to break up.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you guys really are that serious from the get-go, maybe before you start dating, take this quiz and then talk to like a therapist and see
Yeah.
what they say. Because sometimes having an outside opinion that is professional
Yeah.
can be super, super meaningful. But this is why I stopped having male friendships.
Really?
Yeah. When I was like in my early 20s, like obviously there's exceptions. Like you
They
have that
all-
lifelong
You're
friend.
like Lily. They all fell in love with you?
Or I had like a lot of gay friends. Awesome. But I just had some really bad experiences with straight guy friends where I was like,
God.
oh my gosh, we're best friends. This is
You
so
were-
cool. And then they're like,
I love you.
I'm going to love you for the rest of my
you
life.
and
And I was
Lily.
like, oh no.
You and Lily are the
and I
same
felt
person.
so bad about it. So that could be what's going on here too.
Yeah. Sorry. It could be that. I very much think so. Who knows? Yeah, we're biting off way more than he might not even be.
But it's a good thing you're thinking about these kind of things.
Yeah.
It seems very mature, but
Yeah, you a Virgo? You a Cancer? Like, I want to know what you're...
I want to know more details.
where you living in... Or you an Aquarius? You living in the future.
I'm not an Aquarius.
No, thinking a lot about feelings.
Yeah, too many feelings.
Too many feelings. Or maybe a Libra. You're weighing all of your options. It is time.
Oh gosh, is this? I gotta take off my coat.
For
Is this
Don't
the part
Blame
when things
Them.
get crazy, where they call us a second time and?
No,
whatever?
they're giving us their own opinion and advice if they've listened.
Oh,
So
great. Okay, awesome.
But
I
it
could
also
use
might be
that.
crazy. We don't know. Roll the tapes.
I have a feeling it is.
So I'm 27. I'm calling in response to a caller on the most recent episode with Melissa. So the girl who is like angry and uncomfortable listening or overhearing her parents have sex. So I guess my feeling perspective, I'm coming from the other side of that because I'm a mom. I've got a little girl who just turned 6 and my son is 3.5. So I'm kind of coming from the parents' perspective on this. So first of all, 100% understand, totally valid to be kind of uncomfortable at the idea of your parents having sex. No one wants to think about their parents in that context. That feels kind of weird and uncomfortable, so I understand that. But she said something in the call about, overhearing my friends, like, doesn't make me upset, but when it's my parents, I get really angry. Dude. From the parent side of that, or from somebody who is a parent and has children, beyond having a conversation about being made uncomfortable, I think the getting really angry about it, you just gotta let go, dude. Parents don't stop being sexual people just because we're parents. And intimacy is such an important, necessary part of a healthy, committed relationship. I think you just need to reframe your feelings about this. Have a conversation so that this is making me uncomfortable, but understand this is like normal and it's healthy for the relationship and it's a good thing. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I have kids and having kids didn't make me not like sex. So anyway, I'm sorry that your parents are making you uncomfortable, and that definitely should have a conversation, but getting angry about it, dude, your parents are still people, and that's a weird transition to make in your 20s, to understand that your parents are still people, and they're not just your parents.
One time my sister walked in on my parents having sex.
Melissa's done it.
And
no, I've never walked in. I just could hear them.
Yeah.
My sister walked in on my parents having sex when
Your
she was in
poor
high school.
sister.
She called me. I was at college and started like painting a picture of the whole thing, and I hung up on her. I was like, I don't need this in my life. She called me back, started re-explaining. I was like, I'm going to block you if you continue doing this.
I love your
So
sister.
you want to know how she processed this? She went to school, told all of her classmates and all of her teachers. And it was like open house or something the next week. And one of the teachers told
Your parents are so wholesome too.
Told my dad. Allie's told everyone at the whole school that she walked in on you guys having sex.
I cannot imagine your parents'
It was
reaction.
like an afternoon delight situation too.
Like
My mom was mortified.
I was gonna say they're the most wholesome people in the world.
So
your mom
funny.
is like a Hallmark mom.
Is she really?
Like
she was like mortified. Still, this is like 20 years ago, and she's still upset about it. Like, we get it. Your parents like to have sex, good for them, but like, just shut the door or something. You know.
This reminds me of a TikTok of this audio where it's like, well, just like. Enjoy it. And it's like, no, like this idea, this is the part that like she's angry. And this is, I'm going to call you Karen because I'm a level with you. You're being a Karen. Yeah. You're angry. It's very valid to be angry at a level of respect. I think parents and kids have the same level of respect for one another. Yes. I don't think it's because you're parents, you must respect me, but I don't have to respect you. Why the fuck should I respect you if you don't respect me? So that's what this is. It's her saying, I know my parents would never be okay with me doing this in their home. Mm-hmm. They would feel so uncomfortable and so disrespected if I ever did this. And
it just
they're doing it and it's feeling weird. Not respectful for me. And also this you so cherry picked and like selective listening for the call. So much of also what she was angry about was the fact that like her parents like will talk about sex, but then always go like, oh, well, she gets really uncomfortable. Like, don't make her feel awkward. She's like, well, I don't feel awkward. You're making me sound like a baby. Like I'm adult. Like the whole thing was weird. And it was that frustration and anger of the fact that like, she's not really allowed to talk about her own sex life. Like they're very weird about that, but they'll talk about their sex life and then comment on how uncomfortable it makes her. And then they'll hook up very loudly while they know she's home. And like, yeah, that's a level of respect. Like respect
like
your kids the same way.
Masturbating
in the Airbnb.
In the Airbnb next to like her dad was in the kitchen with her.
And so she was in the kitchen with her dad, and then the mom was in another room masturbating.
Yeah.
Like, why would, like, the dad
come on.
needs to leave and
I feel
say,
like the parents
hey,
are, like, getting off on it or something.
That's the part that I'm like,
that's weird.
There's, like, even when you're, like, hooking up at, I don't know, like, somewhere, like.
You don't want other,
I'll be quieter. I'll always be quieter. Like, just, I mean, like, this is a level of respect.
I'm wondering about this girl who has a 6-year-old. Like, why is she so adamant about this? Does she have her kids, like, still sleeping in her room with her or something? Like,
yeah.
Do you need like validation? I don't know. It just seems really weird.
And also, your kid is 6. We're talking about someone who's in their 20s, and that we're not talking. And also, like, if your kid was sexually active in your house loudly, would you enjoy that?
It just seems very strange. It doesn't seem like anyone on the planet Earth would be like, oh, this is cool. Like,
no, I fucking hate the idea that I just really hate that like the parent deserves respect and the kids are kids and get told what to do. Like I fucking hate that. It's not fair. It's not fair at all.
That being said, I'm so happy for your parents that they have a very happy, active sex life. Like that's great. No one is going to hate on that. That's awesome. Especially if you've been together for like 500 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you, but just like in another, soundproof room.
And there's also a way to be sex positive without making your kid uncomfortable.
Yes, exactly.
I came from a far too sex positive, but I also came from like a sex positive home, but very similar to the original caller, like very sex positive, but not about me.
Only about
everybody else, not about me.
Interesting.
Everybody else was allowed to have sex and it was not shameful. Everything was fine. But then it was also like very graphic, very vocal, and to a point where like if you're making a kid uncomfortable, that's like that it's too much. You can bombard a kid. It's like it's like literally making a kid watch a horror movie and then being like, should we talk about this and explain it? You're like, wow, too much, too fucking fast.
I'm all set.
Why'd you have to show me Schindler's List to tell me about how grandma died? Like I don't need to we don't need to associate death and then like, let me show you this movie. Like that it's just no.
I just can't imagine having your mom masturbating in another room while you're in the kitchen
loudly.
With your dad.
Like if you're gonna do it, just
go.
Yeah.
Like, turn on a faucet or something. Turn on some tunes.
Watch her be also the mom though who like turns the faucet on when she poops, but like not when she's masturbating. She's like moaning and shit.
This is just so niche. But I'm glad that you have this show to help people. People need you.
But apparently Karen doesn't Karen, and I'm happy for you, Karen, for getting all that dick in. And I hope for you when your son turns 18 or whatever the age of consent is, he fucks loudly in your house and you applaud him and thank him so much.
Karen's gonna be pissed.
That's what I mean. Like that's like
Karen's just like, good job.
Do you guys want a snack?
Absolutely not.
Oh. Well,
oh my gosh. Wow. What a journey.
I love how she didn't even come for us. She gave her the collar, and on behalf of the collar, we came for her.
Mm-hmm. I feel like she has other things at hand going on in her personal life.
Also, do you listen to this podcast with your children in the car?
Oh, no.
Probs.
Oh, wow. Your kid's first word's
That's a
going
whole
to be
other issue.
Pussy.
I mean, they're 6 and 3, so I think they're past first words.
True.
I know. It's even more dangerous at that
True.
age. They're like repeating full sentences.
Yeah. Oh, so funny. That's it for our episode.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Joss, thank you for being on.
Thank you for
You're
having me.
always a joy to be around.
Such a pleasure. As always, I want to encourage everyone watching to head right now over to Megan's vlog channel, which by the time this video goes live, sure as hell better be reinstated. Because if the powers that be, the people that are a part of this journey cannot make it happen, then I don't know who can.
No one can. Plug your shit. Where can people find you?
So I'm everywhere, most recently on TikTok. Pretty excited about it. Yeah, I hired a TikTok consultant last week, which is a real thing. No. Her name is Steffi. She's 21 and she ticked and talked with me all day for 4 days.
Oh my gosh.
Very interesting journey. So I am on the TikTok, but you can also find me on YouTube, various places. Literally, I'm just sick of myself, but you can Google me, Joslyn Davis. I'm everywhere.
Check her out. And if you guys want to be on an upcoming episode of the podcast, you can leave us a message at 310-694-0976. International listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. You can listen to our podcast anywhere ad-free on Stitcher Premium. Watch it on YouTube and also pre-order my book, You're Not Special. Woo! It's linked in the description and it comes out on May 5th.
Yes.
Then follow us on socials and then that's it, right? That's it. We're outie.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't Blame Me is a production by me. Executive produced by Melissa DeMonts. Camera operator Amanda Lechner. And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like, it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, are you ready for some real talk and some fantastic laughs? Join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
We're serving up 4 hilarious shows every week designed to entertain and engage and, possibly enrage you.
And Don't Blame Me, we dive deep into listeners' questions, offering advice that's funny, relatable, and real.
Whether you're dealing with relationship drama or you just need a friend's perspective, we've got you.
Then switch gears with But Am I Wrong, which is for listeners who didn't take our advice and want to know if they are the villains in the situation.
Plus, we share our hot takes on current events and present situations that we might even be wrong in our lives. Spoiler alert, we are actually quite literally never wrong.
But wait, there's more. Check out See You Next Tuesday, where we reveal the juicy results from our listener polls from But Am I Wrong?
And don't miss Fisting Friday, where we catch up, chat about pop culture, TV, and movies. It's the perfect way to kick off your weekend.
So if you're looking for a podcast that feels like a chat with your besties, listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.